Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Felsbrunn Farm. We are making our way down to the grain or the train elevator just over here. Railroad Silo East, that's what it's called. I couldn't remember what it was called for a second then. We're making our way down there with our soybean crop. I watched the market prices last night. They didn't really go up as high as I was hoping they would do. We are in desperate need of cash because we need to fix and fuel our T6. It is in desperate need of maintenance now. Power has really dropped off and it's almost out of fuel, and of course being really low on its performance right now, it's also burning through fuel really quickly as well. We need to use it today, so we kind of have to get that thing fixed and repaired, but we don't have any money. We're minus 9,611 euros at the moment, so we can't fix it. We can't even put fuel in it, even though we have a placeable at the farm. We can't put fuel in it because we have a negative bank balance. Things are a little bit different this time around compared to 17. With 17, if you had the placeable, it didn't matter if you were in debt. You know, you could still use the placeable, and it would just increase the amount of money that you owed. This time around, does not appear to be the case. I cannot put fuel in my T6, just because I don't. It's the same thing with the chickens. We saw that I tried to sell my chickens and I couldn't, all those roosters, and I couldn't because I didn't have a positive bank balance, despite the fact I was trying to sell animals to raise money. Because there was a fee involved, it just blocked the sale instantly. It's the same with trying to put fuel in my tractor. It's not letting me do it. So as a result, we are depositing all of our soybean, which is a little under 60,000 litres, here in the Railroad Silo East. We're going to send it over to the train station mill. The price hasn't changed at the train station mill since yesterday. It's still 16.88. I was hoping that we would get a better price. We've had a price close to 1,800, and that's what I was waiting for, to see if the other price would actually end up going higher than the one we already had. It didn't. It's actually, I think, €3 shorter. I think it's 16.85 at the I think it's the mill. The grey mill, yeah, 16.85. So it's actually €3 worse than the train station mill. But we're going to load all of our soybean into the train, ship it round to the train station mill, and sell it all in one nice, easy to manage go. That'll bring in a nice little bit of cash, which we can clear our balance with, and maybe pay a little bit of our loan off as well. The prices for canola and soy and sunflowers, not particularly good at the moment either, so we'll probably hang on to those ones. I think we're going to reseed our fields today, which is one of the reasons I need the T6. We're going to put more sunflower down on field 1, and then I think we'll probably do the same again with our soybean, although we might plant soybean on both of our fields, or canola on both of our fields. I think we'll go canola on both fields 3 and 5. Really, boost the supply of material that we already have. I think that's probably going to be the best thing for us. So I'm going to continue running our soybean down to the silo. Once that's all loaded up, as I say, we'll ferry that over to the train station mill by train. It's a short journey, but it's certainly a lot quicker than schlepping 3 different trailer loads by tractor. It's going to be much quicker and easier to do. So I'll catch up with you once I have got everything on the train and ready to sell it. So here we are, bringing the train around to our railroad silo. Slam the brakes on. Pickup speed so fast going down that hill. go. So 58,000 litres and change. Get that loaded up quite nicely and quickly. Train station mill is where we're going to be setting this off to. So we're looking at 60. Ooh, it's gone down a point. It's weird. It's gone up a point and to go down a point. It was 1688 a second ago. So we've timed this just about perfectly. We've actually managed to gain an extra point there. Not quite sure how, and I don't think it's going to stay like that for long. But luckily, train station mill is just a short hop, skip and jump away. So if we get a boogie on, we can still sell this at a higher price than it is at the Railroad Silo East. Of course we could sell there if we wanted to as well. 16, oh, it's the grain mill, isn't it, not Railroad Silo East. I'm thinking of grain elevator east, and the price there is terrible. It's going up, but it's terrible. Let's get cruise control on. So yeah, the prices you can see for sunflowers at the moment, 14.44 isn't too bad, but we know we can do better than that. So I don't really want to sell just there, just yet. And as for canola, well, we've had over 13 for canola, and those prices barely over 12. It's just, no, it's not worth it. We can do so much better. If we're a little bit more patient, we can do a lot better. Now, the soybean is a little bit different. We need some cash. This isn't too far off, the best price that we've had. So it's understandable and justifiable to sell this a little bit earlier than we would like to. So we get that sold. That's 16.89 per 1,000 litres. See, they're all gushing out the bottom of the tanker there. And there we go. We've just made 99 grand. Oh, that's lovely. Love that. Right. Let's turn off switch to trains so that can get back up and running again. There we go. We need to bring the case back up, but here is our poor, worn-out New Holland. You can see maintenance now is really bad. And to give you an example of how low the power is, if I just drive across our field, there's a slight uphill gradient. Look at that. We're not even able to hold 28 miles an hour going up here. We should be hitting 32 easily up there. And if we were towing something, we'd be really struggling. We'd be down at least another sort of 10 miles an hour. So it definitely needs a fix. And it's going to need some fuel as well. And now that we have cash, we can actually sort that out. So let's start off by giving it a tune-up, getting it back to full power. So let's repair that. We've put 41.5 hours on this thing already. That's amazing to think that we've put so many hours on this thing so soon. And let's give it a top up with some fuel as well. There we go. So we're going to put the worker on this one. And he's going to be planting sunflower for us again. Let's connect it to the seed box, which is now empty. We're almost out of seed pallets as well, so we're going to have to do a seed run at some point. We've got enough seed here to be able to put our... oh, we're putting fertilizer in. Nuts. Didn't want to do that. Not enough space to unload. There we go. Alright, let's go in from the other side. There we go, that's seed. That's better. So we'll get 1,800 litres of seed in here. That'll be enough to cover. Is it going to take the fertilizer as well? I don't think it will. No, it won't. That's because it shouldn't do. It shouldn't be able to mix and match in the same compartment. But we're going to run this without fertilizer anyway, just because it's easier to manage that way. This whole thing holds so little fertilizer that and so little seed that it's either one or the other, but never really both. So we're going to get a worker to do this field for us, and we're going to go and manually seed fields 3 and 5 using our other seeder, and we're going to put canola onto both of those 2 fields. Just going to put in a border pass first of all. And the ease with which we managed to get the harvesting done on this field means that, you know, sunflowers really are, especially with the price that we saw when we did our first sale, or when we did that contract sale and we got nearly 1,600, or around 1,600 I think it was, for sunflowers. That's a huge price. I don't think we're going to get that price very often, but if we can get at least 1,500, then that is a really, really good price that we can certainly make a lot of money off, and we can turn these fields around really quickly as well, given that we can harvest them at 9 miles an hour. I would like to get a second sunflower header, but it's not essential. I think the way we have our combine set up at the moment is really good, in the sense that we can do 2 separate different crop types at the same time, running the Nova on one set of fields and the New Holland on the other. Plus we keep that practicality of a larger tank combine and the awesomeness of our little Tonka toy, as as Adrian described it. A little Tonka toy combine there, our little Nova. I do so love that Nova. It's so dinky, it's so cool. So let's see if we have the same issues that we did last time, where this thing skips all the way down here. We're using a different tractor this time. We used the Case last time. I want to see if the New Holland, and a fully tuned New Holland, can do a better job. Maybe it's a height thing. Nope, it's not. Straight away we're getting skips. So again, as I expected, we are going to have to do some tidying up on this field once we're done. But if we can at least... Oh, that's bad. Yeah, if we can at least get a good chunk of this field done without any issues whatsoever, a little bit of tidying up at the end is fine. So we should have a really big skip coming up all the way to the end in a moment. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure what's causing that. It's annoying as anything. It really is. I don't know if it's a terrain thing that's causing that, but yeah, it's frustrating. So we'll leave that to run across widthways for a couple of passes. Let's get our Case back up to the farm. I've already loaded seed into the other seeder. That's got 3,000 litres of seed in it. So no issues on that one there. In terms of not having any product, that'll have more than enough seed to do our 2 fields. And once the seeding is done, if we have time, we'll probably do a little bit of contracting just to try and add a little bit of extra cash in. Maybe go and do some spray jobs if there are spray jobs around. You know, hook up our sprayer and take a load of fertilizer down on the back of a flatbed again, like last time, and just tour around the area, going from field to field. That seems to be a very good way for us to make money. You know, the fertilizing jobs pay well, they don't take too long, and although we have to pay for our own fertilizer, you know, it tends to last pretty well. So it's not too bad at all as a money-making technique. I do love this this little mountain road, especially in the morning when the sun is coming up over that way and it shines through the trees. It just creates such a really picturesque feel as we drive around this windy mountain road. It's just stunning at times, it really is. And I know sometimes I like to skip these drives, but every now and again I do like to put them in just to remind you all and myself just how pretty this game can be at times. It really is absolutely beautiful. And this is a basic stock map from Giants as well, so you know, we've seen that Giants maps tend to be more functional than beautiful. And we've seen some maps that modders have made have been very, very functional and not necessarily all that exciting to look at, and others have gone the complete opposite, made maps that are beautiful to look at, not that functional. And then there are a couple of modders out there that tend to just about get the balance spot on and make it beautiful and functional. And I can't wait to see what those modders, you know, come up with. You know, modders like Bullet Bill, Oxygen David, Red Kindstus. They make beautiful maps that are a joy to play on, and I really can't wait to see what they come up with for Farming Sim 19. Right. Let's make our way over to field 3 and start planting some canola. There's our New Holland. Missing all of its wheels at the moment, by the look of it. I know, there's some rear wheels. I'm assuming it's got front wheels now. Yep, I can see them now. There we go. It's weird how the rear wheels spawn in, but the front ones don't until you get right on it. Not quite sure why that is, but never mind. So, we do have the right seed type, that's good. Crop growth is currently turned off, so we don't have to worry about weeds coming up while we're planting, or crops starting to grow while it's planting. Yeah, once it's all done, we'll turn crop growth back on again. Keep an eye out for the weeds. I just want to get this guy to the end of the pass, and then we'll get him running that way up and down the field again. Although he seems to be doing a really good job this way. I might just leave him like this. Yeah, let's just leave him like that. And see how he does that way instead, because we know we get skip problems the other way. Let's see how he does that way instead. So we are going to manually seed here instead. And the soil looks a bit dark considering it's not fertilized. Oops. It almost looks like it is fertilized. I want to check something. Oh, oh. We need to plough. Really? How did that happen? Okay, so there's a bug with sunflowers that we have to plough after sunflowers as well, because it's not listed as a crop. If we scroll across, look, you can see here we need to plough after corn, potatoes, sugar beets and sugar cane. It says nothing about sunflowers in there. That's really bad. I'm assuming it's a bug. We're still waiting for that patch, or at least as I record this, we're still waiting for the patch. It may possibly. Well, let's see. This is Sunday night as I'm recording this, so this goes out tomorrow, Monday. Maybe the patch drops tomorrow, or today as this episode goes out. Now, do I plough up what I've just seeded? It's a lot to give up, isn't it? We need to lime this field as well. We turn, at least the centre stretch of this field needs liming. And oh no, the whole field needs liming. Okay, so that shouldn't need liming so soon. We need to rip this field up. We need to hit it with a plough. So we'll park this up. We don't need a plough. We need a subsoiler more than anything, because we're not going to be creating a new field. We're just going to be cleaning off an existing field. So that'll save us some work effort. If we park that there for a second, engine off, let's look at the equipment. So we can get a 4-meter subsoiler for 140 horsepower, or one for 130. Next up is it's the Culti plough, which is way too big. I want to check actually, do the Stara ones still? No, these do not subsoil anymore. They do direct drill, but they don't subsoil. Interestingly as well, you can't actually remove the seed boxes on these anymore. If you remember from Farming Sim 17, when these were introduced with the Platinum DLC, they came without the seed box, and you could add the seed box on manually as an extra, and they were a cultivator that also subsoiled, and then you could put a seed box on top, and you could plant, I think, grass and obviously radish. But these ones, they're just permanently seed boxed. So and they no longer act as a subsoiler either. So I think we need to buy ourselves a couple of these. And we could go with the Kuhn, but these are new, and we're all about using new gear on this playthrough. So let's buy 2 of these. There we go. Let's detach our seeder there. We'll leave that like that for now. We'll make our way over to the store, pick up our 2 subsoilers, come back and start working our field. So here are 2 new 4-meter subsoilers. We'll put them both into action straight. Oh, hang on a minute. Just thought this might not work because the ground is cultivated. So it'll definitely work on the bits that we've seeded, but on the bits that are cultivated, I don't think the worker's going to like it. So this could prove to be quite problematic after all. I kind of wish I'd known now, and I wouldn't have cultivated the field last night. Let me just see. Will the worker actually do anything? No, he won't. Now, I have got a potential workaround on this, although, again, I don't think it'll work. We are going to need to line the field as well, so let's turn our beacons off. Let's grab our spreader. And load out the last little bit of fertilizer. Put a little bit of lime in. That's all we have, is a little bit of lime. There we go, 24 litres. Make sure that worker buying fertilizer is switched on. There has to be, as I said, there has to be lime in here. Otherwise the worker will just buy regular fertilizer, and this won't work. You can put lime down on a field that has been seeded, but as soon as you get growth, that's it, you can't. So we're okay to spread lime at this stage. Obviously, if this had grown, it wouldn't let us do it. Oh, we're way short on that, aren't we? I'll tell you what else we can do. This is something I wanted to do when we first bought this thing, but we couldn't afford it. We can now. Let's put the 6-meter spraying units on the back. There we go. So I don't need to disconnect it, but never mind. So customize spreading discs, 6-meter spreader unit, customize. There we go. And it's already unfolded. Bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Let's try this again. We go from the same spot, we should be fine now. Oh no, not quite. We're a little off. If we had gone from the centre, we would have probably made it. There we go. So, we'll get some lime on the field. While that's happening, will our New Holland be able to recognise a change in field state now, I wonder? Let's have a look. Otherwise, this is just going to be a bit of a nightmare trying to get this cultivated. Please recognise this as a different field state. Well, I know it will here, because we seeded here. That's not in dispute. It's this bit here. I need it to recognise this bit. No. He won't. That is so frustrating. The potential fallout of not ploughing the field is quite significant. It's a big drop. Same as not liming the field, you know, combined together, that's quite a bit of extra yield that we're giving up. So definitely want to make sure that the fields are in a good condition, but this isn't going to work as a... We need a way to dirty up the field. And I think leasing a plough might be the best way for us to do that. We could always just... I guess we'll just have to manually cultivate like this. It's a pain, but it needs to be done. Let's check our other fields. So no other field needs to be limed. And no other field needs to be ploughed. It's just this one. So he stopped, look. Because he hit the skip. That's why. That was a bit where he skipped. So we're going to have to manually do this ourselves. And with a 4-meter working width, this is going to take us forever to get it done. But it needs to be done. So I guess we do this while our worker, once he's finished liming the field, will switch the case over to seeding duty and get him to seed the canola fields while we're cultivating this field out here to get rid of the plough state. It's going to be a long job, so I will see you a little bit later on. Been been working this field quite a bit, as you can see. A lot of it's done now. Not a huge amount left to go. If we take a look here, you can see that plough state is disappearing. But our money is also disappearing. We're down to 49 grand and a few leftover euros on top. The combination of workers and having to pay for lime and a couple of these subsoilers, it's just eating away at all that money, as well as our repairs for our vehicles as well. I did give the case a bit of a tune-up as well. Just got that back into tip-top condition, topped its fuel tank up. I'm planting OSR at the moment. We haven't done radish yet in 19 at all. We've done it before in 17. We did it a fair bit actually on Lone Oak, but for some reason I never got round to trying it here. So seeing as we had to rip up the seed, I figured let's do some OSR this round. I had meant to do it and completely forgot, so it kind of gave me the opportunity to address that. So I've got canola planted, not canola, OSR planted on fields 3 and 5. 5 is almost finished at the moment. Worker is still finishing that field off. He's got about a quarter at most of that field left to do, and as soon as he's done there, we'll transfer him over here and get him to start planting OSR on this field. That'll give us... Oh, you know what? I just realised I could have just planted OSR and then used these to cultivate that. God damn! That would have made things so much easier and so much quicker. We could have just planted OSR on this field and then used these to cultivate it in, and that would have removed the plough state as well, and it wouldn't have mattered if the ground needed ploughing for OSR, because OSR isn't a sellable crop, so it doesn't matter about the yield. Okay, so if this bug holds true and we have to lime and plough our fields again after the next round of sunflowers, then at least we know how we can get around that next time. But I think if it does happen again, then we may hold off on doing sunflowers anymore until we get the patch and see if that changes. Because sunflowers are not, apparently according to the information in the game, are not supposed to be affecting our crops or our planting this way. Not supposed to be affecting our field states. So if it does happen again, then we'll switch back to doing soybean on this field, and I'd be curious to see just how much extra we'd get now that we've got a single join field compared to the 2 independent fields that we ran before. Be interested to see how much extra we can generate with that new strip of land and the slightly recut edges. So I'll carry on running up and down on here, and as I say, as soon as the worker has finished planting OSR on field 5, I'll transfer him over here, get him started at the far end of the field planting OSR on this field as well. Nearly done now, just soldiering along with this final strip. Our case is on the field somewhere with the seeder. I'm looking around, I'm not seeing where he is yet. Obstructed by wing mirrors and support beams. Maybe he's just the other side of that hill, but he is there. Let's check I've not missed anything. I think he's just turning at the other end there. Yeah, there he is, look. Just turning around. So you should see him crest that hill in just a second. There he is. So we are getting some OSR down on this field, and you can see how long it's taken me to do this. I mean, it was what, 9 something when we started this in real time, and it's now what, gone 11:30. Still soldiering away, but it is now just about done. So it's going to take a little while for the OSR to come through. So as soon as we've finished seeding, what we'll do is we'll turn crop growth back up, and we'll turn it up to fast so that we can get the OSR to come through. Then we'll get it cultivated back into the ground so that we can plant the sunflowers, which means running over it again with these. Well, with the other cultivator actually will be quicker, so we can get some cultivating done, and at the same time we can also plant canola on fields 3 and 5, because obviously they're going to have OSR that's going to need to be cleaned off, but the planter is, for them, is direct drill, so we won't need to cultivate those. They can just go straight through, which is quite handy. So what we'll do is we'll look to see if we can make a bit of money on the side to recoup some of the expense of this morning. It's been a very expensive start to the day, that is for sure. So there is our nicely cleaned field area now. No issues whatsoever. Good to see. Let's have a look at the contract menu. Also, actually, while we're here, I tried to do this the other day and we couldn't because we had that negative balance. Let's get rid of the roosters. So, let's see. What is my reproduction rate at the moment? 3 hours 15 with 75 chickens. So, let's find the roosters. There's one. Move that over. There's the other one. And confirm. There we go. So, 20 euros earned. I've complained enough about that, but yeah, it's ridiculous. So, 3 hours 15 is the reproduction rate. Now, theoretically, it might drop slightly when the next chicken ticks over in 45 minutes. If it goes up, then we know that roosters do boost the rate, because if it takes longer with more, after we get an extra chicken in, or even at the same rate, with 75, and it were to go up, then we know that the roosters definitely do improve the reproduction rate of our chickens. So we'll keep an eye on that. We need to look for contracts. What is out there that can make us some money? That's a big job. It's going to take all day, though. I don't really fancy that. See, it's big equipment, but it's not a massive field, so it's not a huge payout. Plus, we lose we lose a third of the job. Well, over a third. We lose a massive amount of the payout if we were to lease the equipment. We could do this harvesting job, field 6, which is field 6. That's that field there. And there's that train station mill again. Yeah, it is a train station mill again. Always seems to be the train station mill. Port Southeast for field 7. That's a long journey again. What about, that's fertilising. Loads of fertilising jobs. We could just go on a fertilising run. I think that looks like a good way for us to make some cash. It's not much in the way of harvesting jobs. Yeah, and look at the pay on these. Very, very nice pay indeed. So, yeah, we'll do that. Which means we're going to need the T6. We're going to need the front loader arms. I'm also going to need to move that out of the way. Yard's a little bit of a mess, but we'll make sure that gets tidied up a little bit later. Let's just drop that out of the way for now. Yeah, that's not been positioned very well, is it? There we go, that's better. Yeah, front loaders. Might as well give them a quick scoop like that, seeing as we have the bucket already attached. There we go. Just drop off the bucket. Go get the pallet forks. I'm going to need to move this as well. I just realised. Because I want to take one of my trailers down in flatbed mode so I can load some extra pallets on the back and just spend some time spraying to recoup some of that money that we've lost. Because we have lost, 50 grand since this morning, since we sold all of our soybeans. 50 grand has just evaporated. So let's grab one of our two trailers. I've got them parked over here at the moment because we're running out of space. We just don't have space to store everything, and it looks like we've knocked our boxes around a little bit. Looks like that box should be there. Try and get this stuff squared back up a bit. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's convert this over to a flatbed. I am toying with the idea of actually selling one of these trailers. I'm undecided at the moment. So we may as well repair it for now, customize it, put it into bale loading configuration. There we go. Spray kit, I need the spray kit as well. This is going to be awkward. There we go. So, we can't see where we're going if we drive first person, but we can at least make a move. So, off we go then to the store to go and load up on some pallets. We need to put a little bit of spray in here because you can see just 69 litres left. Plus, I want to get at least 4 pallets on the back of this trailer on top of that as well. So that's 5 pallets we need to buy. That's what, 12 grand I think it's going to cost us for 5 pallets, if my mental maths works out about right, at 2,400 per pallet. And then we can go off and we can spray multiple fields, make back some of that money. We're going to need to make 12 grand just to cover our expenses, and then anything after that will be profit. So I'll see you in a little while. So first up on our to-do list is field 16. This will net us about 7 grand, 7.5 I think. Yeah, 7.5. So we're well versed in this field. We've worked this a number of times now. or in various different states, you know, usually fertilising, but also we've done some harvesting jobs here as well. Now we'll do another quick spray job and get a nice good chunk of cash for it. After this, we'll take another look at the board, see what's available, and move on to the next pig paying field. So we've done a load of spray contracts. They're all sort of stacked in the inbox, waiting to be cleared and payment to be sent. We'll do that as soon as we get back to the farm. And we only used we used 3 canisters of spray, so we still have 2 left over. I think I might have dipped into one of those 2 partially. I honestly don't remember. I've left the forks down at the store because I will be going back there momentarily. I'm going to take this trailer back up here, and then, because I've got no way of unloading these, I didn't think it through. I'm going to reset the trailer back to the store, because I'm going to need to run back to the store and start stocking up on some more seed. So we'll drop the sprayer off. We'll reset the trailer when it gets to the top, so the pallets, once they're unstrapped, should, in theory, drop straight to the ground, and they'll be at our yard. The seeding has been finished for a while now. I've had the growth state turned up to fast, and we've accelerated time up to ×5 as well. So those fields should be coming in pretty soon. I know they've already got a stage of growth of weeds on them, or at least they did last time I checked. It's been a couple of in-game hours, I think, since I last looked. So it's possible when we get round the corner we could be looking at full-on weeds, as well as some OSR everywhere. It doesn't really matter about the weeds, as long as the OSR grows in. That's the important thing, because we can cultivate that and the weeds out and get our free stage of fertilisation as we start planting our next row of crops. The only cultivating that's going to need to be done will be on field 1 when we put our sunflowers in, and that's not a major issue. So let's see as we round the corner what state our fields are going to be in. Are they going to be in a very, very weedy state with OSR on them, or just weeds? Looks like just weeds at the moment. Yeah, just weed. So the OSR hasn't grown yet. So no need for us to weed these fields. They will be taken care of. We're going to cut across this one actually. They'll be taken care of a little bit later, as I say. Once the OSR comes in, those weeds will get cultivated out with the OSR. So no need for me to run the weeder over it. It was suggested to me that I run 2 weeders, that I get a second 9-meter weeder instead of buying the larger one. It's an interesting idea. It would certainly speed up our weeding time, but you know, one of the reasons I want to get rid of the other weeder and get a 9-meter, the larger 15-meter weeder, is because how long it takes to do the weeding with a 9-meter. And yeah, getting 2 of those would effectively give me 18 meters for less than the price of a 15-meter weeder, but having a 15-meter weeder makes weeding contracts much more viable than a 9-meter weeder. It makes them a lot faster, so it doesn't take us an eternity to earn very little money. So I'd rather wait until the right time and get the correct sized weeder, the largest one, just so we can get our own fields done reasonably quickly, but we can also have that flexibility of taking on weeding contracts as well and not taking an eternity to do them. So kind of stuck at a loose end until these fields grow. Let's turn in these contracts so you can see here these are all the spray jobs that we've completed. So we needed to make 12 grand to cover our expense of the fertilizer. We've already done it here. That's 13.5 off those 2. So turn them all in, and there we go. We made 32 grand. Take the 12 off, that's 20 grand that we've made just spraying stuff. And there are still some contracts, or there were a couple of fertilizing contracts. There aren't many left. You can see some harvesting ones have come in. A couple of cultivating jobs still there, getting quite a few weeding contracts starting to pop up. And you can see they don't pay very well, generally. I mean, these are all reasonably small fields as well, for the most part. But if we had, because they don't pay much, if we have a large weeder, it makes it so much quicker to get those done. And look at this. We take on this weeding contract here. If we leased the equipment, we get paid 186 euros. It's just, what's the point? What is the point? No point whatsoever. So yeah, we'll wait for this to grow in, and then when that happens, we can turn those fields over, start seeding, get our crops in, and take it from there. So we'll call it an episode here, I think. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Felsbrunn Farm very soon.